Shrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Shrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. Happy New Year, everybody. Glad you could join us here this morning on the program. My name is Thor Shrock, and I'm the owner of the Shrock Innovations Computer Company. We've got service centers all over the Midwest. We've got in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road, in Omaha, across the street from the Village Point Mall at 168th and Burke Street. Also Papillion, 84th and Highway 370, just right there inside Midlands Place Shopping Center. And now in West Des Moines, Iowa as well at 9500 University Avenue. We've got 4 service centers to help you out when your computers break, when you need upgrades, when things aren't working the way you need them to work, or when something pops up on the screen and you just have questions. For example, we had a customer, you may have noticed this on websites. You go to a website, like one of the things we're going to talk about on the show today is the difference between Apple and iPhones coming up here in 2021. And Tom's Hardware Guide is where I'm using for a reference point for my information here. And it pops up on the screen. It says, do you want to receive notifications from this website? And if you click yes or allow, anytime anything new gets posted at Tom's Hardware, it's going to pop up a notification on your desktop. Even if you don't have your browser open, even if you're just sitting there. It's super duper annoying, right? Because you don't want to know every single time they post. And then now imagine you've done that on like 20 websites. It's like a constant diddling, 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 diddling all day long on your computer. You can't get anything done. We had a customer call in and said, I've got these pop-ups. I think I have a virus. And we're like, oh no, pop-ups and a virus. He was a Shrock Desk subscriber, so we remote in on the Shrock Desk and take a look. And sure enough, he clicks allow. He lets everything through. And so we just turned off his notifications for him entirely because, sometimes you're just not going to change behavior. We're just going to turn off these notifications so they don't interrupt your work anymore. Have a great afternoon. The best solutions that we can come up with for people all the time. That's what we do at Shrock. And that's what we did all last year throughout what was probably, in 20 years in business, 21 years last year, we had a lot of challenging years over that time. There were some times where you didn't think you were going to make it. Any small business owner will share the same story with you. Last year was challenging for so many reasons, and I have such empathy for the small businesses out there who were in year 5 or year 10 of their operation, right on the edge there, and that pandemic hit them right in the face. Just an awful thing, but we look forward to 2021 and the prospects of the goodness that it can bring with us. Now, if you missed the show last week, we actually did do a live show last week. I tried not. I'm here on Easter Sunday, guys. I try to make sure that we do live shows for you whenever possible. Last week, we told you about how the bad guys are also using VPNs to keep themselves safe from authorities. So if it works for them, it should work for you, right? Keeping yourself safe from bad guys, that is, not the authorities, or sometimes it's hard to tell. How your online search history can actually be a part of your credit report in the near future. We talked about that a little bit. Kind of scary stuff, not necessarily bad stuff, but kind of scary stuff. We reviewed the past year's highlights that were not connected to COVID. So last week we didn't talk about COVID. We didn't talk about infections or cases or vaccines or anything. We just talked about, this year a lot happened in 2020 despite the pandemic. And if you look back on your year, I think a lot of that's true for everybody. One of the things that stood out for my family was, all around the country there were these protests happening and everything was shutting down because everyone was afraid there was going to be a big protest and businesses didn't want to be open. And literally my kids wanted ice cream. And we went to go to Sonic to get ice cream in Papillion, Nebraska. And the Sonic it was actually La Vista. The Sonic in La Vista closed down early because they were worried about protests. And we're like, you got to be kidding me. So we said, let's just go to the Sonic in Gretna because, of course, it's Gretna. They're not going to close Gretna Sonic. Drove to Sonic, must be the same owner. They were closed for protests. You got to be kidding me. The old DQ was still open, though. We finally hit the Dairy Queen in Papillion. Literally, we're driving around the state of Nebraska in the middle of a pandemic at 6 o'clock in the evening looking for ice cream. Now, some people might say that's a disconnect. But I mean, my wife was like, what are some of the most ridiculous things from this year? And I'm like driving around at 6 p.m. in the middle of a pandemic riot looking for ice cream. And she's like, that is kind of crazy. But we did do that because the kids wanted ice cream, what you won't do for your kids, right? So we have a really fun show planned for you today. If you missed last week's show, you can catch that on the archive at ShrockInnovations.com. All of our shows are archived there. In fact, I was a little conspiratorial because I thought, there was a show that was missing from December of 2018. And I thought, oh my gosh, we did the Thorstradamus segment in 2018 because I was going back to get Thorstradamus's predictions. I don't remember them, right? So I went back to go get them from the show in the archives, just like you would do. Because today on the program, we're going to go over the predictions that Thorstradamus made for 2020, and we're going to gauge to see how accurate his predictions were. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what Thorstradamus is, maybe you're new to the program, I am not Thorstradamus. Thorstradamus is he's a character, let me put it that way. And he doesn't like the radio. He doesn't like talking to people. But he has these predictions, and they're scarily accurate. Like, he always knows what's going to happen before it happens. And so, one time, jokingly, I started asking him questions about tech. I was talking with him, and he gave me some predictions, and they turned out to be true. A lot of people who listen to the program sometimes wonder, how is it that Thor always seems to know what's going to happen before it happens? For example, if you would have put $100 into Bitcoin when we started talking about Bitcoin, not way back 2012, but let's just say 4 or 5 weeks ago, you'd have $300 today. How did I know that was going to happen? Thorstradamus, right? I talked to this guy. If you had a friend who knew the future, you'd talk to them too. I'm just saying. So one of the things that we do during the program is I ask him questions about the general tech landscape. And so we get some predictions from him. And then every year I share those predictions with you here on the radio. He won't come on the show, but he gives me the predictions to share with you. And then at the end of the year, we hold him accountable. We go back and we grab those predictions and we go and look for stories that either support or contradict the predictions that Thorstradamus made. So that's what we're going to do this morning on the program. We're going to go over Thorstradamus's predictions from 2020, see what was what. Is he still 100% accurate? Then we're going to go look at 2021 and see what he's predicting for the upcoming year. Because, we're always curious about what's going to happen in the future. All right, one other thing that we're going to do this morning. You may have remembered this sale from last year, but there is one thing that just about every computer that comes into our service centers needs. Almost every single computer that comes in because it's slow, because it's hesitant, because it's not doing something that it needs to be doing. 99% of the time, the main root cause of why it's so slow is the computer does not have a solid-state hard drive. Literally, we order them by the bucketful. Well, it's more of a box with foam, but by the bucketful, let's just say. And we get the solid-state hard drives in at the beginning of every month, and by the end of the month, they're all gone. So one of the things that we started doing a couple Januaries ago was, and it turned out to be our most popular upgrade sale that we do all year long, is we upgrade people's computers to have solid-state hard drives, and we don't charge the labor. Now, the reason this sale is so popular, number one, is labor never goes on sale in a service business. Those of you who haven't owned small businesses before, labor dollars that you charge on a repair job are what actually pays the bills. You don't make money on the parts, really. Not enough money to keep the lights on anyway. You make your profit center is the labor. That's why, it's like, hey, the part's not so expensive, but that labor gets you, So when you're dealing with the labor cost of a repair job, it can really push you over the edge. So what we do in January is we offer any computer that you have that has a mechanical hard drive in it, we will upgrade it to a solid-state hard drive for just the cost of the solid-state hard drive. There is no hourly labor. So it usually costs an hour of labor for us to clone your hard drive, so we make a copy of it, so it's exactly like it is now. You don't lose anything, no files go missing, all your programs are still there, but we just make a copy of it and put that copy in the computer on a solid-state hard drive. And all of a sudden, you turn the computer on and the thing boots in like 6 seconds. When you click on things, they just pop up. Things just happen. And people are absolutely stunned by the performance increase. If I had to use an internet mannerism, one stupid trick to speed up your computer in 2021, get rid of belly fat too. Solid-state hard drives do that. It's one stupid trick that you can do to your computer to dramatically increase the performance. And sometimes we have customers bringing computers for the solid-state upgrade sale, and they already have a solid-state. And they don't realize they have a solid state because a lot of people don't realize that solid state hard drives degrade over time. They slow down. So if your computer was super duper fast when you got your solid state hard drive, maybe you have a 2012 holiday special that came with a solid state hard drive and you have one of those first generation solid state hard drives in your computer, that thing is running slower than a mechanical drive now. And the more full, the more full, the more capacity you use of your hard drive, the fuller the drive is, the more likely it is to fail and the more likely it is to perform slowly. There's a lot of reasons for that. I won't get down into the weeds about it. The important thing for you to know is if you have a computer that is slower than you expect it to be, if you have a computer that has slowed down dramatically over time, and you're thinking about buying a new computer, but you really have better things to do with that $600 stimulus check, you don't want to go out and spend it on a computer. Why don't you instead put a solid state hard drive in your computer, get another couple years of use out of the system that you have? This is I'm probably spilling some secret sauce here. This is one of the reasons that Shrock's modular computers and solid state laptops last so much longer than the competition. Everything we sell comes with a solid state hard drive. The El Cheapo model and the Ritzy model. Everything comes with a solid state hard drive because, number one, all software manufacturers now expect your computer to have one. So when they make new versions of Windows 10 or for Apple too, when we have a 27-inch iMac on the bench in the Papillion Service Center, it is a big, beautiful computer, giant 27-inch display, runs like a dog. I don't know who at Apple thought it was a good idea to build one of these with only 4 gigabytes of memory and a rotating disk hard drive. That was stupid. We're going to put a solid state hard drive in this thing, add another 4 gigs of RAM to it, and this thing is going to be a beast. Yeah, we have to put some adhesive on it because they literally glue the screen on those, so we have to put new glue adhesive down, but no big deal. It's $30 in adhesive. But, you can take an iMac that cost you $3,000. Those were not cheap iMacs. And get years more use out of it simply by replacing the solid state hard drive. You got to be kidding me. That's amazing. That's the kind of stuff that we do at Shrock every day. But except during January, we do it for less money. Now, in some cases, when you bring your computer in, your hard drive may be in a failure state. The sale still applies to you. It's just that there's usually 2 hours of labor when your hard drive is failing because cloning a bad hard drive is technically harder than cloning a healthy hard drive. Duh. If your hard drive is broken, it's harder to get it to work, right? It takes longer, so we charge a second hour of labor for that. So if your hard drive is bad, there'd be an extra hour of labor there. But what we're talking about here is saving you $115 by taking advantage of this sale. Now, one of the other cool things, especially if you have a desktop, is, so you bring in your desktop computer, we take out your old mechanical hard drive and we replace it with a solid state hard drive. The computer is 10 times faster than it was before. But we have this old hunk of junk mechanical hard drive that isn't worth anything to anybody anymore, right? I mean, it's your hard drive. You can keep it if you want it. It's like when you get your alternator replaced. Here's the bad alternator, sir. I don't want that thing. What am I going to do with that? Oh, okay. We'll recycle it for you. In this case, though, we can take that old mechanical hard drive and we can leave it inside the computer and set it up as a backup drive. So not only are you getting 10 times the performance improvement, but now you're getting a real-time backup too. So that's what we do at Shrock. We're solving one problem for you and preventing the second problem. So if you've never been into our service centers before, this is the opportunity to come in. Now, all the shops except for Des Moines are open today from noon to 5 on Sunday. This show airs Sunday mornings at 7, by the way. If you want to call into the program, you can do so, 888-250-2091. Give us a call between 7 and 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, and we'll get you in on the air live. And you could even have a shot at winning a $25 Shrock Innovations gift certificate, something that I would highly recommend this morning if you're planning on coming in for a solid state special, because you can use that $25 toward the cost of the hard drive. But the labor is free. So instead of the $115 in labor, it's like getting a free $115 off the cost of the upgrade. There is no limit per the number of computers or the number of computers in the household. You can do the entire family's computers if you want to, all at one time at Shrock Innovations. Now, all the service centers are open Saturday from 10 in the morning till 8 in the evening, Sunday from noon to 5, except for Des Moines. Des Moines is closed on Sunday right now. Des Moines will be open Monday morning at 10. So if you're going to the reason I put such emphasis on Des Moines is we've run this sale for 2 years now in our regular community, in the Nebraska community. This is only like the second time I think this is the first time it's ever been done in Iowa where you have a service center you can go to. And so we expect Des Moines to be the demand in Des Moines to be outsized. I'm going to be doing a lot of cloning. I'll actually be in the Des Moines Service Center on Monday, so I'd love it if you stop in, bring your computer in, let me install that solid state hard drive for you. The best moment is after somebody installs a solid state hard drive and they come to pick up their computer and you open the laptop up on the front counter and you're like, watch this. No, you got to see this. And you hit the power button and it's like 1,000, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And when you get to 6 and it's booted and they're like, oh my goodness. And you're like, and that's on battery. Yeah, it's so much faster on power. It's crazy. You didn't know that? Your laptop runs faster when it's plugged into power? Of course. It's going to save the battery. It's going to run in eco mode when it's on battery. You want a racehorse, you plug it into the AC adapter. But yeah, the solid state hard drives are phenomenal, and you can get them at Shrock with no labor the month of January. So make sure you stop into your local Shrock Innovation Service Center and let us take care of upgrading that for you. Now, coming up on the show today, guys, holiday specials are officially sold out. They're gone. We sold the last 2 yesterday. The Des Moines Service Center actually sold the last 2 to one customer. They bought the laptop and the desktop, so they are gone. We can still order them in for you. They're all special order items at this point. The price did go up a little bit, so you pay a little bit more because the selling them at cost is done. That sale is over. So thank you for making that. The 20th success of the holiday special. We've sold out 20 years in a row on that sale. Just incredible. In the middle of a pandemic, no less. Last year, we're going to go over last year's Thorstradamus predictions. We're also going to cover the upcoming year for 2021's predictions. Also, at the end of the program, I've got a dilemma. And I want to hash this out with you a little bit on the air and see kind of what your opinion is. I want to know which you prefer. Would you decide if you were buying a new cell phone to buy an Apple iPhone 12 and assume that you could buy whatever model you wanted? Forget the money involved. Assume you got a $2,000 stimulus check and that's enough to cover any phone you want to buy. Would you buy the iPhone 12 or would you buy the Samsung S21? Now, I'm a big Android user. Like I've always been. I had an iPhone like years ago when it was like new. And then I didn't like how restrictive it was, so I switched to Android. But I have to tell you, and then we're going to cover some of this in the program, some of the stuff that Apple's doing is really attractive. And I find myself for the first time in a long time being tempted to go over to an iPhone. So I want to find out, am I alone here? Am I the only person? Do you prefer Android? Do you prefer iPhone? We're going to go over the specs of the phones and the pluses and minuses so we can make an informed decision on what new flagship phone you might want to buy in 2021. So big show today for you guys. We're going to take a quick break. Take a breath, and when we come back, Thorstradamus' 2020 predictions, did they come true? We will find out coming up next on Compute This.
Shrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Shrock get your data back. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Shrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Shrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Shrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Shrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Shrock. I'm the owner of the Shrock Innovations Computer Company, and this is the show we do every year called the Thorstradamus Show, where we take the predictions of the mystical, he's a weirdo, Thorstradamus, and see if those predictions actually came true. So prediction number one this is what he predicted in the very beginning of 2020 for the year 2020. Prediction one, masses demand a blind eye. A secret kept is a customer earned. Now, that prediction, he doesn't explain them to me. He just tells me the predictions. So I took a look at what's gone on in the news in the year to see what might, work for this prediction. Apple's new requirements put additional focus on consumer data privacy. You've probably seen Facebook having a cow over this. Basically, Apple's not going to let Facebook stalk you all over the internet anymore. So when you're using the Facebook app on your Apple device, you have to specifically allow Facebook to stalk you. And so that means Facebook's freaking out, and they're telling small business owners, we're fighting for you because Apple's decision is going to make it harder for you to reach your audience because, we can't boost to people. If you have an iPhone, we don't know what you're interested in. We can't, do it based on interest or anything like that. The general small business response was a big flying bird to Facebook. You're the ones who we spent years and years. Like right now, guys, if I put a post out, maybe 20% of our 3,000 plus fans on Facebook will actually see it. If I pay $10 to boost it, then about 70% of you will see it. It's ridiculous. Like the audience that we paid to build up now, Facebook is saying, help us fight Apple to save your audience. You're the ones who took the audience in the first place. But I think the stuff that Apple is doing to protect the identities and the data of their users, along with the fact that, Apple doesn't let the government into your iPhone. If you don't have the passcode for an iPhone, you don't get in. That's all there is to it. That's kind of attractive to me. I like that. Prediction number two, cybercrime. This is weird. The dogs of war nip at the moneymakers. The roar of the mouse is mightier than the sword. So the dogs of war nip at the moneymakers. Who are the moneymakers? That was weird. I was like, was it Amazon? I didn't see any hacks on Amazon. Didn't see any hacks on Google, really. And then, oh my gosh, it hit me. The moneymakers. The Treasury Department. U.S. Treasury Department hacked through SolarWinds compromise. Communications at the U.S. Treasury and Commerce Departments were reportedly compromised by a supply chain attack on SolarWinds. A supply chain attack is when so, for example, you trust Shrock Innovations to manage your security with Sophos on your computers. A supply chain attack would be if somebody attacked us to get to you. So somebody attacked SolarWinds to get to the Department of the Treasury. The security vendor helps federal governments and a range of Fortune 500 companies monitor the health of their IT networks. Basically, it was bad. They could... Whoever hacked this, which they suspect, of course, it was the Russians or whatever. I don't know if that's even true, but they suspect it. They could read the emails in real time, going back and forth between cabinet-level treasury, like literally. Fortune 500 companies, companies that use SolarWinds, AT&T, Bell South, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and there's tons of them here. I'm just going down the list and reading them. Level 3 communications, Cisco systems. It was bad, and they all got compromised. But the money makers actually got hacked. Prediction true was true. Prediction number 3, hyped too much. Who has taken my beef? The 5th G stands for ghastly. And so there was some discussion of what's with the where's the beef reference here last year in the show. But basically, in a nutshell, this was a 5G prediction, that 5G wasn't going to live up to the hype. So it took a look around to find out What's going on? Why 5G phone? This is Computer World, and this was October 22nd. Why 5G phones aren't a smart investment in the future yet. Long story short is you can get a phone with 5G and you can get coverage that says it's 5G, but you're not going to get the magical speed that 5G is promised, because unless you're standing on a specific X in a specific city underneath a microwave transmitter that causes your skin to feel warm, then you're going to get the full 5G experience, if you know what I mean. But if you're just a standard user, like, I literally set my Samsung Note down next to my operation manager's 5G Samsung S20 phone. They get the same speed. His is slightly faster. So yeah, if you ponied up a ton of money to have an early 5G phone, it wasn't a great investment. It's not living up to the hype yet. We're about to fight wars over this, and it's not living up to the hype. Come on. Prediction number 3, I think, is true as well. Prediction 4, they thought they were safe. They are not. Failed by the pretend protector, the software did not secure. Okay, so at first I thought, okay, is this another, prediction regarding SolarWinds, because SolarWinds would kind of fit here as well. But I don't think it was. I think this is a reference to the FireEye hack. FireEye, a top security firm, says it was hacked by a nation state. So the dogs of war, that's a nation state kind of reference, right? Failed by the pretend protector. They thought they were secure. The software wasn't. The Silicon Valley company said hackers, almost certainly Russian, made off with tools that could be used to mount new attacks around the world. For years, the cybersecurity firm FireEye has been the first call for government agencies, companies around the world who have been hacked by the most sophisticated attackers or fear they might have been. Now it looks like the hackers, in this case the evidence points to Russia's intelligence agencies, may be exacting their revenge, because FireEye revealed on Tuesday, this was on December 31st, 2020. Talk about, hair of my chinny chin chin. I'm sorry, December 8th. It was updated December 31st. FireEye revealed on Tuesday that its own systems were pierced by what it called a nation with top-tier offensive capabilities. The company said hackers used novel techniques to make off with its own toolkit, which could be used to mount new attacks around the world. The pretend protector, their software not secure. I'm just saying, guys. I got goosebumps. It's weird. That was prediction number 4, Thorstradamus on the money. All right, so we got to take our bottom of the hour break. What predictions does Thorstradamus have for the new year, 2021, coming up? We're going to tell you all that and take your call, Kathy, coming up next on Compute This.
Shrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. Shrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new ShrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Shrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new ShrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Shrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Shrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. A car full of children were among the 9 people killed in a high-speed head-on collision in California.
28-year-old Daniel Luna veered onto the road's dirt shoulder before overcorrecting and swerving into the next lane. His car then struck a vehicle, causing it to burst into flames. All 8 people inside that vehicle died, including 7 children between the ages of 6 and 15. The Fresno County Coroner's Office is working on identifying the victims.
Fox's Jackie Ibanez. The children all belong to 2 related families. The president and the president-elect are part of a last-ditch effort to get out the vote in Georgia for Tuesday's Senate runoff.
Now, early voting shows Republicans will need a strong turnout north of here in Atlanta, and that's why President Trump tweeting he's heading down here tomorrow at 9 p.m., rallying in Dalton. Biden is heading down as well tomorrow in an effort to boost his numbers in Atlanta.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
A dense fog advisory is in effect through noon today. We should see a bit of clearing this afternoon with highs warming up into the lower 30s. Another chance for fog forming overnight tonight with lows in the lower 20s. More sunshine on the way for Monday with highs in the upper 30s. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back in. Happy New Year to everybody. Glad you could join us for the program and the annual Thorstradamus show. I think we can all say pretty definitively that 2020, he was like a laser beam. No COVID prediction. Did you notice that? No pandemic prediction. He just keeps it with the facts. I don't know. It's crazy. All right, number to join us on the program this morning is 888-250-2091. Also, we are live right now on Facebook. So if you'd like to watch the program or interact with the online Facebook community, you can go through. And when I say the interactive online Facebook community, what I mean is basically we got 3,000 people that are all interested in the same thing who get together every Sunday and chat. And they're chatting right now. Completely separate of the program. You can check that out at facebook.com/Shrock Innovations, where you can watch the show live there and participate in the discussion. Let's see. We have a question here from Paul on Facebook. Question, I have an old computer that could use a solid-state drive, but I don't have the disk for my Microsoft Office. I retired from a job that allowed me to buy Office at a ridiculous price, but it came via an email download. Will that be able to reactivate if the hard drive is cloned to the new solid state? So first of all, when we clone your hard drive, it's like a Xerox copy, as they used to say. It's the exact same thing. So in other words, you don't have to reinstall anything. You don't have to activate anything. The computer will act and behave exactly as it did before. It'll just be a lot faster. So you won't have to reactivate your Office. Now, the second thing is when you get your Office through an email download like that, usually that means that they have associated it with a Microsoft account. So in the future, at some point when the day comes where you have to buy a new computer, you might want to check your Microsoft account under the subscriptions option at the top. You might actually have the ability to reinstall that Office on a new computer someday. So if you're putting off a new computer because you're worried about buying Office, that might be a solution. But if you just want to speed up the computer you've got, heck yeah, bring it on in. We'll put the solid state drive in it, and it'll be 6 to 10 times faster than it is. And yeah, it'll work just great. So it's an unbelievable sale going on in January at Shrock. No labor on solid-state hard drive upgrades. All right, number to join us on the program, 888-250-2091, and that's what Kathy has done. Kathy, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Well, I have a 1 terabyte drive now, and I'm thinking that since my great-grandson loves these monster programs that I need to get something. Is there anything bigger than a 1, like a 5 or a 10?
You have a 1 terabyte solid state right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You put it in.
Yeah, we can go to a 2 terabyte solid state. There are actually 4 terabyte solid states as well. The 4 terabyte is pretty expensive. You're going to choke on that price. It's about $800. So that one, I would suggest going to 2. Let's just double it first. That's a lot more reasonable on the price point, around $399 for that, as opposed to sorry, maybe it's $399. Don't quote me on the price. I have to double check that.
I won't.
But yeah, we would do that again with no labor. So yeah, absolutely, Kathy. If you're running out of space, this is one of the things that I said earlier too. As your solid state gets full, what ends up happening is, if you think about it like a glass of water. Let's say your glass of water is 75% full, and then you have 25% of the glass remaining. So you keep pouring a little bit of water in and drinking a little bit of water out. The glass at the bottom always stays wet. It never changes. But at the top, it gets used over and over and over and over. And eventually, unlike your glass of water, your solid state hard drive, those cells will wear out. And so one of the neat things about having a solid state that has a little bit more capacity than what you need is that it will last a lot longer. So if he's filling up that hard drive, Kathy, we really should get you into something a little bit larger so that it doesn't wear out and then just unexpectedly die on you. Now, the good news here, Kathy, thank you very much for the call. We do have you in the drawing for the $25 Shrock Innovations gift certificate as well. The good news here, though, is you would still have a 1 terabyte solid state. So we could actually put that in as a backup drive in the computer so that you would have the ability to have an ultra fast backup as well. So it would work really well. All right. Welcome to the show, Keith. You're up next on Compute This. How can I help you today? Keith, are you there? Keith with a hard drive question. I just realized I have two
Hey,
Keiths.
this is Wesley.
Oh, Wesley. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. No wonder I didn't answer.
That's all right.
Keith.
Keith is there like, hello, hello.
Yeah. I'm like,
All right, Wesley, how can I help
It's
you?
not me. I have a computer and I got robbed and they stole the hard drive. They stole a whole bunch of other stuff, but they stole my hard drive. And so I was thinking about getting your special for the hard drive, but you can't clone it because I don't have it. So
Right.
I know it's usually have a sticker on there with the Windows 10 on there. So.
Yeah.
Is it possible that you can download that Windows 10?
Oh yeah,
somehow
yeah,
with
absolutely.
the sticker?
We can reinstall it from our flash drives, and then it'll automatically activate with your license sticker. Because we have to install the drivers and everything else, there'd just be an additional hour of labor. So you would still get normally that would be 2 hours of labor for us to do, but because of the special, it would knock an hour off, and you'd get it for 1.
Well, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for the call, Wesley. And who knows, you might even save an extra $25 off here from the call into the program today because we got you in the drawing there as well. All right. So looking at these predictions that Thorstradamus has made for 2021 going forward, these are predictions that Thorstradamus says should come true in the year 2021, so this year. Prediction number 1, new alliances counter China. The tiger and the kangaroo supply the chain. New alliances counter China. Okay, the tiger and the kangaroo. Well, the kangaroo, I mean, that's got to be Australia, right? I mean, kangaroo. Who's the tiger? Who's national? Does anyone know who a tiger for a national animal? So anyway, so it looks like in the Asian Pacific region that Australia is going to team up with, is it India? Somebody help me out. Is India is the national animal of India a tiger? So anyway, it looks like that maybe Australia and maybe India are going to be teaming up to take some of the supply chain stuff from China. So that would be kind of interesting. I thought we were going to be all friends again with China now, now that the election's out of the way and everything. So that's going to be an interesting prediction to look at. That's something you're going to be able to actually measure that. You're going to be able to say, look at how much stuff left China for these other countries. Right now, China's in a huge conflict with Australia. Literally, people in China don't have enough coal to heat their homes because China refuses to import coal from Australia. They need the coal, but they refuse to buy it because they're not going to give Australia money because Australia and India and the United States did a whole bunch of live fire defensive drills, basically. They're forming a NATO-like alliance to counter China. So it's kind of crazy. All right, prediction number 2. The majority use an electronic brain. Artificial enhancements behind the curtain. The majority use an electronic brain. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is probably not a prediction about brain transplants. In 2021, an artificial brain, I guess, are in artificial enhancements, an electronic brain, maybe AI, artificial intelligence. Basically, the majority of people would be using artificial intelligence to get enhancements behind the curtain. That makes me think of like the Wizard of Oz, like behind the curtain, like you don't know what's going on behind the curtain. Oh. The majority of people might be using artificial intelligence, but they don't realize they're using it. So the majority of people will be using artificial intelligence, but they won't know they're using it. That's going to be crazy. How many of you think you're not using AI now? I mean, if you shop at Shrock, you've used AI this year. I mean, our website automatically suggests when you buy a computer, it's like, do you want the the warranty with that? It's very rudimentary AI, but basically, I hit this with Alfonso, who heads up our Shrock Interactive division. I said, you realize you're developing AI, right? And he was like, come on, Thor, I'm not developing any AI. And I'm like, no, look, the definition of AI is any time that a machine can make a decision that a human would otherwise have had to make. That's artificial intelligence. By that definition, everything you code is AI. And he felt pretty cool about that. So I guess that would be that the prediction number 2 is the majority will use an electronic brain, artificial enhancements behind the curtain. We're all going to be using artificial intelligence this year, apparently. Prediction number 3. Oh, well, this one does have something to do with organs. Implanted filter replaces the organ. Transplant alternatives coming. The implanted filter? Well, the only organ that I'm not a biologist, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So the only organ that I know about that filters things is like kidneys, body's filter, right? So an implanted filter, if it's like as easy as changing your Brita filter, that'd be pretty cool. Replaces your kidneys, kidney transplant. I could see a transplant alternative. If they could make an artificial kidney, that would be pretty cool. So I think Thorstradamus is predicting the invention of an artificial kidney. We do have an artificial heart already. I mean, so I guess why not a kidney? Prediction number 4. There's 5 predictions this year, guys. New attacks hit phones and home offices, I'm thinking, because digital predators invade the holy spaces. I don't think he means the church. Watch out, Lutheran Hour, they're coming for you. Digital predators invade the holy spaces. Infections in the palm of your hand. The old ways are dead. Digital predators invade the holy spaces. So I'm guessing by holy spaces, that's anything like close to you, like an intimate space, like your home. Infections in the palm of your hand. I mean, that could be a phone or a tablet. The old ways are dead. The old ways of infecting people, maybe? Or maybe the old ways of protecting people are dead. Thorstradamus may be predicting here that digital predators are going to find new ways to infect things that we previously thought were untouchable, our holy spaces. And they're going to get right into the palm of our hand. Okay, I'm creeped out a little now. I'm just going to move on to the next prediction. Okay, if you've listened to the Aftershock, you know I'm kind of a Bitcoin bug, right? So I had to ask. This was for me. That's why there's 5 this year, because I was like, Thorstradamus, please tell me what's going to happen with Bitcoin. I want to know what's going to happen with Bitcoin. This morning, by the way, Bitcoin is at $34,000 a coin. I can get you the exact price here because, I don't have it on my phone or anything real handy here. We are at $34,164 this morning, up 8.46% in the last 24 hours, which 24 hours ago we were up 15%. So it just keeps going up and up and up. So I asked him, what's going to happen with Bitcoin? Thorstradamus said, the veil is lifting, the false value is threatened, one last trap before the moon landing. Okay, so the veil is lifted. Okay, so people are becoming aware of Bitcoin, I'm guessing? Like the veil is lifted, like, oh, it's not a scam. The false value is threatened. I'm like, the false value of Bitcoin? Or he could be referring to like fiat currency, like the US dollar or the pound or the euro or any of the other, if currency is not backed by anything, as false value. Something about the false value is threatened. One last trap before the moon landing. Well, in cryptocurrency, they always talk about how a coin is going to go to the moon. It's going to skyrocket. It's going to go straight up, go to the moon. Bitcoin is mooning right now. It's going straight up, basically. But he said there's one last trap before the moon landing. So that would indicate to me there's going to be some kind of a pullback or some kind of a scare that's going to cause everyone to doubt what they're doing with Bitcoin. And then it's going to shake out the weak hands, and then it's going to go. So that's my interpretation of Thorstradamus' predictions this year. He just gives me the predictions, guys. I have to interpret them. Prediction 1, new alliances counter China, the tiger and the kangaroo supply the chain. Prediction 2, the majority use an electronic brain, artificial enhancements behind the curtain. Prediction 3, implanted filter replaces the organ, transplant alternatives coming. Prediction 4, digital predators invade the holy spaces, infections in the palm of your hand, the old ways are dead. And prediction 5, the veil is lifting, the false value is threatened, one last trap before the moon landing. All right, got to take a quick break here. When we come back, Blaine, Keith, Mike, your calls are coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Shrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Shrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at ShrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Shrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Shrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Shrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Shrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, final segment of the first show of 2021. Thanks for joining us here. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. If you're watching on Facebook right now, please click like, please click share. It really helps us spread the word about Shrock Innovations and the help that we provide small businesses and individuals with their computers. There's really nobody out there that does things the way that we do them. And when you come in for that first time, you get your first hour of labor free as a new customer if you've never been in before. So a lot of times that's enough for us to fix your entire problem for you. Not to mention that right now, if you have a computer that has a mechanical hard drive that's been running slower than you would like, you can bring it in right now and get a solid-state hard drive installed in your computer for free. No labor whatsoever, just the cost of the drive. We had somebody ask during the break here, how much does the hard drive cost? Like, what's the catch here, Thor? The challenge here is that there is no catch. The hard drive depends on the size you need, depends on how much space you're using. So if you're only using 30 gigs of data on your hard drive, if you just use it for checking email and doing some internet and some bill pay, you can get away with a 120 gig solid state. If, on the other hand, you're like the caller that we had whose son has filled up a 1 terabyte solid state, then you need a 2 terabyte solid state. The price differences are dramatically different. But most people end up with either a 120 gig solid state, a 240 gig solid state, or a 480 gig solid state. So they start at $150 for the hardware, and then each step up you go is only $50 more. So it's only $50 to double the capacity. And then it's only $50 to double it again if you wanted to. So this sale is phenomenal because it's a great value on the hardware. The hardware is top-notch quality. It's the 3D, the triple layer chip, basically. So it's 3D NAND technology that is the fastest solid-state tech you can get. Another reason why our computers, a lot of people go out and buy computers that have solid-state hard drives, not knowing that there are different speed ratings for solid-state hard drives. So one solid-state hard drive is not the same as another solid-state hard drive, because you can definitely buy some for less than $150 And, they'll be faster than a mechanical drive, but they're not going to beat a Shrock modular drive. All right, let's wrap up these calls here real quick. We got some people waiting on the line here. Blaine, thank you for holding on the line. How can I help you today on Compute This?
When you rip CDs, some of the older ones don't have any digital data on them.
Correct.
They just say track 1, track 2. When those media player lets me edit those and put in the music, that information that's missing,
yes.
When I put it on a jump drive to use it in my car, I can't edit that. Is there a program that allows you to edit that on your jump drive?
Well, you can actually. If you right click on the file, the audio file, and then left click on properties, there is I forget what it's called. I want to call it metadata, but there's basically a tab there that allows you to add or edit or change the meta information for the drive. You can for the file, who authored the file. So, for example, when we publish Compute This, it's authored by Shrock Innovations. What's the name of the program? Compute This, episode whatever. You can add all that by right-clicking on the file, left-click on Properties, and then go into the. There's a tab on the top where you can click on that tab. And forgive me, I forget what the tab is called. Click on the tab there, and you'll be able to enter all that meta information in, so that when you put the thumb drive in a car audio player, it'll pop up the track data for you. Thanks for holding on the line there, Blaine. We got you in the drawing as well. Keith, the real Keith. Will the real Keith please stand up? How can I help you on Compute This today?
Is that me?
That's you, Keith.
Okay.
You are the real Keith. Isn't that the question? Am I the real Keith?
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah. I read an article. You were talking about the 5G cell phones, I heard earlier.
Yeah.
And I read an article in a High Plains Journal that they were telling that there's so much more radiation from those 5G phones. And in that article, they said the towers have to be closer together to get reception from them.
They do.
They said they would be spaced about the length of a city block. They'd have to have a tower spaced out about every city block.
Yep.
And in that article, they said that they're scared. It's a hazard to animals from the radiation from that 5G. And to me, I think I'd rather have a little less communication and be a little safer from all the radiation from the 5G.
Gotcha. No, that's a legit concern. In fact, the bomber in Nashville, there's some chatter that I'm hearing that the reason that he attacked where he attacked was because that was where the switches for a lot of 5G communications happen. That he was really concerned about 5G radiation. And so there are actually people there's like a whole conspiracy theorist movement about people who are burning down 5G towers and things like that. That literally in Europe, especially, they literally will torch the towers. We're burning up all the Huawei equipment. It's kind of crazy. But there are people who are concerned about that, and then there's other people who are like, whatever, we're bathed in radiation already. And when you say radiation, it's like, oh no, radiation, it's bad. It's like nuclear bomb stuff. You don't realize that when you flip the light switch in your room and you see light, that is radiation you can detect with your eyes. The light bulb is emitting radiation. That's what you see. That's what's reflecting. Light is radiation. Heat is radiation. There are all different types of radiations. So not all of it is dangerous, and some of it is dangerous if you get too close. Like if you stick the light bulb in your mouth and turn the light on, it's going to get uncomfortably warm, right? It's not really great. If you get in a tanning bed and fall asleep, you're not going to feel too good. So there's some radiation that can hurt you. The question is whether or not 5G radiation will, and no one really knows yet. So thanks for the call. We appreciate it there. Now, one of the things I wanted to bring up, this is from my own personal stuff as well. I really like what Apple is doing with privacy. I feel like everybody in the business right now wants my data to sell my data to somebody for something. And I'm not sure that Apple is pure as the driven snow, but to use an analogy, they sure look like the cleanest dirty shirt in the hamper right now. If the government comes knocking to get access to my phone, Apple can't give it to them. It's not that they won't. Apple has engineered a system where they do not have the ability to unlock an iPhone that has been purposefully locked. And you try to log in too many times with the wrong password and it wipes the phone. So that's pretty crazy, right? I'm liking the privacy stuff. The majority of my family is on iPhones now. They have a lot of I'm the last Android holdout, basically. Everyone else in my family is on an iPhone. I'm the only one that can't FaceTime. And so I'm the only one that's got the different tech. But I like the freedom that Android gives me to install and do different things that I want to do. The problem is I don't trust Google, especially after this last election and everything that goes on. And the things I can demonstrate to you by doing a Google search for something and doing a Duck search for something, and that the results are completely different. So which phone should I go with? Should I go with an iPhone 12 when it comes out, or the Galaxy S21? The screen size of the Galaxy will be a little bit bigger. The processor is a huge win for Apple. Apple's new Bionic processors outperform just about they easily outperform every chip in class. They also have special optical enhancement stuff. Apple's cameras technologically are less advanced than the cameras on my current Samsung smartphone. The thing is that Apple has so much software for image enhancement that their cameras outperform my Samsung camera because the software is better. Battery size is a huge lose for Apple, though. The iPhone 12 is going to come with a 2,800 mAh battery. When you compare that to the Samsung phone, that's going to come with a 4,000 mAh battery. It's literally 25% larger battery. And of course, I'm going to get the big one, the Plus, which is going to actually have a 4,800 mAh battery. So it's almost double the size. Now, there are times that I'm pushing my phone down to 20, 30% battery at the end of the day. That means if I have an iPhone, I'm going to have to be on the charger half the day. Unless the iPhone is so much more energy efficient because of its own processor that it doesn't use as much battery as fast. My wife seems to be able to go all day with her iPhone, but she's definitely scraping the bottom of the barrel at midnight. That phone needs to be on the charger at that point. Looking over everything, colors, I don't really care about the colors. I'm just trying to figure out, which one. The price point for the Samsung phone should be a little bit more expensive, but I guess I'm curious, guys. What do you think? Is it time to move away from Google and Android and move toward Apple for privacy concerns? Or is it still, should I stay with Android, enjoy what is, aside from the processor, superior tech in the phone, better screens, the whole bit, and better battery life? It's kind of a tear because of that battery life is really what's getting me on this one. You can get battery cases and everything like that. I get it, but I don't know about all that. So anyway, your comments on Facebook, I'll read through those. And also stay tuned for the Aftershock, guys. The Aftershock this week, we've got a bunch of stuff coming up here. For those of you who don't know what Drive Advisor is, we received our first battery alert, which was surprising because no one is supposed to be running the beta version of Drive Advisor yet. But we got an alert that someone's battery is at 60% health. We're like, how did you get that? Holy BTC price, Batman. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and new products that are coming out in 2021. So stay tuned on Facebook for the Aftershock. Wesley, congratulations. You've won yourself the $25 Shrock Innovations gift certificate. We'll see you next Sunday, folks.
Happy holidays, Nebraska, from Superstation KFAB.
Omaha.